You bring something vulnerable to your partner. Nothing dramatic or explosive, you're just being honest. And somehow, you leave the conversation feeling like you were the problem. They didn't shout or insult you, they just went quiet. Or perhaps they told you it wasn't a big deal, and now you're wondering if you made something out of nothing. This is where it gets confusing, because emotional shutdown doesn't always mean the same thing. Two partners can react in almost identical ways. Both can withdraw, deflect, or act distant. But what's driving that reaction underneath can be completely different. Some people pull away because closeness feels unsafe. Intimacy might bring up something old, something that once taught them that vulnerability leads to rejection. So when a conversation gets deep, their replies get shorter, or their tone changes. They might suddenly say that they need space, or that they're tired. And not because they don't care, but because caring once cost them something. And then there's another kind of shutdown, which can feel calm and controlled. You try to express hurt, and somehow the conversation turns into you defending your feelings instead. You're too sensitive. Why are you always looking for problems? So now you're not just unheard. You're questioning your reaction. Both look like emotional avoidance. But one is afraid of being hurt, and the other is a fear of losing power. If you don't understand that difference, you'll keep responding in ways that don't actually fix the relationship. You'll either overextend yourself trying to make someone feel safe, or you'll slowly shrink yourself around someone who needs to stay dominant. And those are very different dynamics. Sometimes the partner who shuts down learned early that emotions weren't safe. Maybe crying was dismissed, or vulnerability was mocked, or perhaps affection was inconsistent and dependent on mood. So they inevitably adapted and became self-reliant and learned to self-soothe. Over time, independence stopped being a strength and started being armor. As an adult, they may genuinely want connection, and they might actually crave being understood. But when intimacy becomes emotionally charged, something in them tightens. They say they're fine, and they change the subject. They minimize what they're feeling because feeling too much once felt dangerous. From the outside, it looks like detachment. But inside, it's really just protection. And here's the part that makes this complicated. They can want love deeply and still push it away, and they can desire intimacy and still sabotage it when it arrives. One day they're open, and the next, they're distant. It feels like inconsistency to you, but often it's just fear. Fear of losing independence, or of being seen and then rejected. This kind of avoidance is rooted in self-protection. It's not calculated or strategic. It's survival. And this doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. Being on the receiving end can feel lonely and confusing. You might find yourself working harder and trying to explain yourself more clearly. You might start rehearsing conversations in your head before bringing things up, because you don't want to trigger another shutdown. Now here's where people get this wrong. They assume all emotional withdrawal is fear, but it isn't. There's another pattern that can look similar on the surface, but the emotional impact feels very different. Instead of retreating, this person overrides emotion. You bring up something painful and they immediately minimize it. They laugh and redirect or turn it into a joke. Or they stay composed in a way that feels rehearsed, like there's no physical discomfort. Just a subtle shift in the power dynamic. So you start defending why your feelings are valid, and explaining why something mattered to you. This isn't someone afraid of intimacy, this is someone afraid of losing control. Vulnerability threatens their image, so instead of shutting down, they dominate the emotional tone. They invalidate and reframe, or imply that your reaction is the real issue. Over time, this does something different to you. You don't just feel distant, you feel smaller. You question your perceptions, and you hesitate before bringing things up. Not because they withdraw, but because they subtly make you feel wrong. This distinction matters. One partner retreats because closeness feels unsafe, and the other dismisses because accountability feels unsafe. With one, you may feel frustrated but still hopeful. With the other, you feel destabilized. And your body knows the difference before your mind does. If you recognize yourself in the first pattern, there is nothing inherently flawed about you. You adapted to survive something earlier in your life and learned that independence kept you safe. But survival strategies don't always build secure intimacy. You may need safety, patience, and someone who can stay emotionally steady without overwhelming you. And if you recognize the second pattern in someone you're with, trust your discomfort. You're not too sensitive for wanting validation, or dramatic for expecting accountability. You can build safety with someone who is scared, but you can't build intimacy with someone who needs power. That isn't connection, it's compliance. Emotional avoidance isn't one single trait. It's a behavior with different roots. And when we collapse all avoidance into one label, we either shame people who are protecting old wounds, or we excuse behavior that quietly erodes self-trust. So instead of asking, are they avoidant? You should ask, what is this shutdown protecting? Fear? Or power? That answer will change how you move. because you can be patient with fear, but you should never negotiate with control. Not all shutdowns are the same, and recognizing that difference might save you years of confusion. You've been watching The Soft Skills. Like and subscribe for more thoughtful takes on relationships and emotional clarity.